COVID-19 practice differentiation. I've heard that there's really two camps of people that I've been hearing. There's two messages, two themes that I've been hearing. The one theme I'm going to call the clinician. And the clinician is saying, I'm going to have to spend $100,000 in the next 12 months to maintain complete sterility and safety on everything. I'm going to have to buy N95 masks and face covers and HEPA filters and all this stuff. And it's going to cost me $100 grand. The other camp that I hear are the guys that are on the other end of the spectrum, and they say, man, this is silly. This thing's just like the flu. The San Diego Institute released some study, and they say the mortality rate on this thing is 0.1%, and this is all silly, and we shouldn't have to do it. And I think both camps are very, very wrong. And here's why I think that. The differentiation and the marketing that you do in your practice, the purpose of it is to attract existing and attract new patients. There's only two reasons you should spend money in your practice: to service existing patients and maintain existing patients, and to get new patients. That's the only two reasons that we want to spend money in a dental practice. And if you're in either of those camps, you're not focused on those two things. You're focused on spending money for the pure safety factor, or you're saying, I shouldn't have to spend the money because it's not fair, or it's not right, or it's not how I look at the world. And neither of those two things are how your patients are viewing the world right now. All of your patients are watching every news that's out there. And right or wrong, good or bad, your patients are going to have a major concern about their safety in the world, not just in your practice, but in the whole world. The reason to do PPE and all this enhancement stuff is to stay safe. But if you're not marketing that safety as an attribute, your patients aren't going to know, and it's not going to matter. You could spend $100,000, you could spend $500,000 in your practice. But if it's not being communicated, and I'm going to show you how to communicate that tonight, it doesn't matter. It's all spent in vain, right? Cool new shiny objects. I know I've been guilty of this. I'll be the first one in line to say I've done that. I thought if I bought some cool new thing that everybody was going to want it. Anybody else want to be next in line to admit to thinking that their customers cared about some cool new shiny object? Anybody bought a laser that sat in the closet for 10 years and they only used it once? That's kind of the story. Yeah, a couple people here raising their hand. And that's the same way with the PPE. We have to be safe, but you've also got to find a way to communicate that. Yeah, more people. Yeah, love it. Yeah, thanks for, I mean, it happens, right? We've all done it. We've all been guilty. How are you going to relate that to your patients? We've got an enhanced safety and security letter. I've been working on this with Dr. Ron for about a week now, and this is a draft that we're giving away tonight at this link, and I'm going to send you the link afterwards. This is something you can mail out to your patients. You can customize it for you. You'll see when you get the letter how and where you need to tweak it. You all may not have painted your office like Dr. Ron did. You all may not have installed some new flooring while you were closed like Dr. Ron did. That's okay. That's not the important stuff. The important stuff is the safety and security message that you're relaying. This is stuff that needs to be mailed out to your patients. It needs to be text to them. You need to reinforce this. Do an email blast to your list. Create a sign for your front door that has this information on it, because we don't want patients strolling into our office if we're going to maintain a tight control over the environment. Extra people should wait in the car, text or call to come in. If you're a client of ours, we are looking at rolling out texting and integrating it into all the Practice HQ, all the phone system that we have. We're going to be rolling out texting. It's not ready yet, so don't overwhelm your CSM asking for why, but it's coming. We're going to have that figured out in short order. Remove the communal items for your waiting room. Add this stuff to your social media. Put it on your website. Even in your marketing and media that's rolling out, you need to have this enhanced safety and security plan out there. No contact thermometers. Go buy a few of these. Buy 3 of them. There's 100 different brands on Amazon, and you need to be taking people's temperature when they come in the door. This is how you're going to not only ensure you have a safe environment, but you're going to demonstrate for your patients that they are in a safe environment, right? How many people have ever walked into a restaurant and asked a waiter or a waitress to wipe down the table because they didn't believe that it was clean? I know I have. I've walked in and, man, maybe I see a little dust bunny in the corner of the room, and as soon as we sit down, I ask our waitress, hey, can you come wipe this table down? And there's nothing on the table. The table looks fine. I do that because maybe I'm a little bit of a clean freak, but I do it because I want to know it's clean. It's not about reality. It has nothing to do with reality. They may have alcohol wiped the whole booth right before I walked in, but I want to see it. And that's what your patients need to do too. Make sure you check their temperature before they walk in. When you go out to the car to get them, check their temperature right there. And now they know that everybody coming into the office, everybody is okay, right? You've all got masks on. Here's another idea. There's 2 great models. Your local HVAC contractor, if you're in the Louisville, Kentucky area, I can recommend a good one to you. If you're not, these are 2 things that are carried by most HVAC distributors that you need to install. They cost about $800 per HVAC system. I'm getting one installed here in my house this week. We're getting them installed at our office. Dr. Ron just got to put in his office. I got several clients. Mitch Friedman up in New England area got his installed as well this week. These are great units that not only work, but that you can talk to your patients about and say that you've gotten this done. It kills 99% of all this stuff, and it installs straight in your HVAC system. You want to install it. What my HVAC guy says, you want to put it right on top of the A coil, and that's where these things install at. And it's about $800 per unit. Get one for every unit. If you got 2 units in your office, it's $1,600. And this is a very marketable attribute that you can say. If you go out to Remy Halo, seems to be the popular one. If you go out to their website, you can get the whole write-up on how great it is and all that stuff. And you can pop in there and get it. These Aegis aerosol backstations, I found these this week. We had a couple doctors that are buying them. This is a HEPA grade filtration unit that is freestanding. And if you go to their website, they got a really cool video where they're shooting smoke around the suction unit. And before they turn on the suction unit, you know, the smoke's going everywhere. And then they turn this thing on and all the smoke goes straight into the filter. Now, you know, and I know that when you get that Cavitron going, it may not capture, this backstation may not capture all of that aerosol stuff. And I understand that. I'm not suggesting here that any of these are a 100% solution. If you're looking for 100% certainty, I don't think there's 100% certainty until there's a vaccine and we have herd immunity. So if you're going to keep your office closed until there's 100% certainty, I think you're going to be closed for a really long time, because the testing is, I don't foresee the COVID testing to be any more robust than the flu testing. I've been deathly sick with the flu a couple times, and you go and get tested and they're like, oh, it's not the flu. You tested negative. I'm like, there's no way. I got every symptom, and the flu, everybody else in the house, in my house has the flu, and they tested positive, and you're telling me I test negative. That's just not possible. It's not, it's highly unlikely. And I think the same thing's going to happen with this coronavirus. Testing is it's probably going to improve. It's not great right now, but it's not going to be 100%. And if your threshold is 100%, then you just need to plan to close. And I don't say this, this is just the way I see the world. If 100% is your threshold, you're going to be closed for a long time. And I think we need to weigh, we need a risk-based approach. And what I'm trying to give you tonight is a few tools that can give you a risk-based approach to how can I open up and help my patients and help my team, and also limit the exposure of this whole thing and still make a living myself. That's what I'm trying to do here. I know not everybody's going to agree with me, and everybody has different thresholds on this. And I understand that. I'm okay with that. Let me show you another really cool tool I found. This is an N95 mask decontamination system. I'm in talks with CPAC right now. We may actually even offer this for sale. We're getting set up as a distributor for this, which we don't normally do product stuff, but we may actually go through with this because it's a really cool unit. And here's why. They've produced this thing so quickly because it was already available. This is a sterilization system. And right now, all they've done is adjusted the firmware on it, the software programming, to limit it to 155 degrees Fahrenheit, right? They've already got FDA approval. And when this thing's all over, you can call them up, and for $300, they will send you the new software that will lift the heat limit on this thing up to 375. So it turns it into a sterilizer. So after you've bought it, it's not like it's only for this COVID crisis. You can repurpose it down the road. So I don't know if we're going to move forward with reselling that. I'll let you guys know here in a day or two. If we get enough interest, if you have interest in this, shoot me an email or shoot me a message, and I'll let you know what pans out with that. Here's a cool tool I found for your team. You guys probably all know what mask to use. But this is a really nice printable PDF. If you go to this link right here, it's a one-page PDF, and it explains, based on what you're doing or your hygienist is doing, which mask they need. I think there's going to be a problem with everybody taking N95 masks when you reopen. And not every patient and every procedure needs an N95 expensive mask. So this might be something you hang up in the storage room where you keep your supplies at, and just help to educate your team on what do they really need to be safe. We don't always need to be using the expensive masks just because they're available there. Again, a risk-based approach to this thing. So this is a printable version that you can swipe and steal. We've had a bunch of practices. You probably already use this in your practice, but Cavicide is a great product. I'm sure there's 100 others. We're not getting endorsed for any products here, guys. I'm not getting a penny. I'm not getting paid. I'm not making any money. I'm just trying to share with you some information of the marketing attributes of what other practices have done. This is what they're doing. In the patient safety and security letter, right back here, you can see all these things talked about. So if you want to convey this type of safety and security to your patients, these are just some of the things we're going to talk about here. When you're wiping down your operatories, there's two things you need to do. Before a new patient sits down in the chair, they need to watch you wipe everything down. This is part of demonstrating to them how serious you take their safety. It's not just about, oh, we are sterilizing it and they hope that it's done right. They need to stand there in the doorway of your operatory while you wipe everything they're going to touch down right in front of them. And then before they leave, you need to do the same thing. They need to see as they're leaving that you're wiping it down as well. And that's going to give them assurance, right? Before this, everybody assumed your instruments were sterile. Don't take those instruments out of the bag until you're right in front of the patient. Open the sterilized bag in front of the patient so they see it. They're not going to take this stuff for granted anymore. Little things like this will demonstrate to them that you are truly taking this seriously. If you don't, they're not going to assume it. They're going to ask questions, or they're secretly going to wonder, and then they're just going to ghost you. They're not going to schedule their next appointment. You're never going to hear back from them. And you know, like many patients that switch practices or just don't come back. They may just wait a year and never come back because they didn't believe you.